Good morning. Thanks for joining me, Fon Quinter, on today's edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television, coming to you live from Studio 1 here in Douala, the nation's economic capital. We begin today's edition in the political capital, where Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diangoute has inaugurated the headquarters of the Autonomous Sinking Fund of Cameroon on behalf of President of the Republic. Mr. Diangoute inaugurated the state-of-the-art infrastructure Wednesday, August 24, 2022, accompanied by government ministers and some members of certain diplomatic missions. During the event, Prime Minister appreciated the infrastructure and also reminded personnel of the corporation the important role they play in financial scheme of the country. The Autonomous Sinking Fund building, inaugurated August 24, is built on a surface area of 21,525 meters square, comprising of 12 floors, about 198 offices and commercial spaces, and a park with a capacity of 169 vehicles. Now, some 3 Indian men have been caught raping a 14-year-old girl in Luma, a locality in Kribi Ocean Division of Cameroon. Circumstances leading to the incident, sources say, are quite disturbing, as Dolly Ngande tells us.
Holidays are still on, and minors remain the target for abuse. Moving down south recently, the story of this young girl is now making rounds on the social media after being involved sexually by these 4 Indian men. In what has torn opinions as to if it was an act of intent or rape, local sources, however, say passers-by were attracted by the noises in a certain school building around town, where they caught the 3 men alongside a 14-year-old girl having carnal knowledge. Immediately, they alerted other inhabitants of the village, who instantly rushed to the scene. When interrogated, the Indian men claimed to have settled the young girl and her family with a sum of 40,000 francs CFA before proceeding with this act. However, the girl claimed she had received just 4,000 francs from them. According to an anonymous source, such acts are recurrent, especially around Kribi, given its touristic prowess, which serve as a source of attraction to many foreigners. Going by these revelations, many have also concluded it was an act of negotiation. At press hour, the 4 men have been arrested by the forces of law and order as more investigations will be carried out.
Now, 13 alleged robbers have been arrested by elements of the Nkongsamba Gendarmerie Company during an operation in the Bois de Singe neighborhood here in Douala. The operation led to the arrest of the 34-year-old gang leader, and after interrogations, other members aged between 22 and 44 who had escaped in Banjul, Suza and Banga were equally arrested. They were caught in possession of 2 M21S assault rifles, 54 rounds of ammunition, knives, machetes, passports, mobile phones, and 6 birth certificates. These suspects were all presented to the press August 23 in the presence of the population and senior divisional officer of Mungo Division, and later transferred to the Military State Council. Now, 2 children who had been declared missing for over 2 weeks have been found in the residence of a native doctor in Bafang in the West region of Cameroon. Law enforcement officials have opened investigations to determine whether they were kidnapped or not. Cynthia Azanu with details in this report.
Investigations have been opened after 2 children who have been missing for over 2 weeks were recently discovered in a native doctor's house in Banja, in Bafang West region of the country. According to the father of these children, aged 16 and 10, they have never left the house on their own, except on this unfortunate day. They are my children. I have been looking for them for 2 weeks now. They left the house at night, and for over the past 2 years, I've been living in Banja. They have never gone out. This is the first time they are living without any information. I thought they went out with their elder sister. After several calls, I realized it was not their elder sister. I don't know how they got to this man's compound. The native doctor on his part explains that he met these children on the road with one feeling sick, so he decided to give a helping hand. I was home when I received a call, so I went to the place. I met these kids sitting on the roadside. When I asked where their father was, they didn't reply. I took them and noticed that the elder one was feeling sick. I even brought her chicken and prepared medicines which I covered her with. This girl is wrong. Locals say they have been seeing these children visiting this native doctor with their mother, and he has been a peaceful man since he got to this neighborhood. I can say that I know him so well because he is a neighbor here in the quarter. He is a native doctor and makes medicines for people around. He has been here for over 3 years. He does not disturb. This is the first time such an incident is taking place. It should be noted that the case is in the hands of the Banja Gendarmerie Brigade, who are investigating to know if these children were actually kidnapped or not.
On to something else, the 17th ordinary session of the PREF-CIMAC monetary unit opened in Douala, Cameroon, during which experts sharpened their regional resilience strategy and also examined a two-phase of reforms in the CIMAC zone. The session, which opened on Tuesday, 23rd August, closes on Friday, the 26th of August, 2022. Eileen Sama tells us more.
The 17th ordinary session of the monitoring unit of the Economic and Financial Reforms Program of the Economic and Monetary Community of Central African States CIMAC opened on Tuesday, August 23, 2022 in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city, presided by the president of the PREF-CIMAC monitoring unit, Congolese-born Antoine Kodia. Experts from the sub-region representing mostly public, parapublic, and sub-regional organizations are gathered in Douala to examine the various actions carried out within the framework of PREF-CIMAC activities and also to sharpen the regional resilience strategies to deal with exogenous shocks, including the COVID-19 pandemic, Russian-Ukrainian crisis, insecurity, lack of diversification, climate change, among other burning issues affecting CIMAC countries. The experts will also examine the second phase of the regional strategy of the CIMAC Economic and Financial Reform Program. This session, which ends on Friday, August 2022, with the holding of the steering committee meeting of the CIMAC Economic and Financial Reform Program, will, among other issues, assess actions carried out since the previous session and harmonize the different proposals to establish the various strategic documents. The president of the PREF-CIMAC monitoring unit, Antoine Kodia, also reviewed the status of the implementation of the decisions and recommendations of the last meeting of the steering committee of the CIMAC Economic and Financial Reform Program since its launch, and called on experts and participants to make proposals with the view of finalizing the various recommendations to be submitted on Friday, August 26.
An international page, vote counting began in Angola after elections day closed yesterday without any major incidents reported. The lead MPLA, which has been in power for close to 50 years, has a significant lead over the major opposition, UNITA, according to preliminary elections results released earlier today. With more than 33% of the votes counted by Thursday morning, the National Electoral Commission said the first provisional results showed the MPLA led since 2017 by President Joao Lourenço gained 60.65% of the vote, while the UNITA led by Adalberto Costa Jr. gained 33.85% of the votes. Away from Angola, South African workers on Wednesday demonstrated against the country's rising cost of living, including high fuel prices and increased cost for basic goods. Around 1,000 workers marched to the Union Building, the seat of government in the capital Pretoria, calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa's government to contain rising prices. South Africa's economy is still reeling from the negative impact of COVID-19 pandemic, in which an estimated 2 million jobs were lost, exacerbating the country's 35% unemployment rate. And Kenya's Airway has announced or confirmed the death of a passenger aboard its flight operating from New York to Kenya. According to the airline, the passenger passed away mid-flight earlier this week. In a statement released August 23, Kenya Airways said one of the passengers in flight K12003 took ill, prompting a medical emergency landing at Casablanca in Morocco. On arrival, medical personnel at the airport found the passenger unresponsive and was confirmed to have passed away. K12003 was scheduled to land in Nairobi at 10:30 a.m. on Monday, but delayed until 7 p.m. according to reports. We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. Coming up at exactly 10:30 a.m. is the brief with Lasha Kingsley and Gladys Bamotwangina. My name is Fon Quinter. Today's edition was compiled and produced by Elvis Modika. Have a blessed day in the company of more programs on the African Eye. Goodbye.
Welcome to a new world of TV